These duds just come out of nowhere for no particular reason on a relatively regular basis. And then you look at this season. He had a great year. Pro Bowler. He completely deserved this Pro Bowl. I don't know about last year, but this Pro Bowl, yeah, I'll give that one to him, definitely. No question. I think he had close to 40 total touchdowns. I think he had 4,000 yards, completed a good percentage of his passes. Was one of the best quarterbacks in the league. But then, there are duds. The Buffalo game, where did that come from? I mean, seriously. That was just kind of a shocker. I mean, there weren't injuries. They weren't playing a really good team. That just kind of came out of nowhere. And, I suppose in the Philadelphia game, he had the injured thumb, but he played awful in that game, obviously. He played a little bit in the second Washington game, and just every now and then he'll just come out and throw up he'll just play an awful game. And if I look at a player like Peyton Manning or Tom Brady, they'll have occasional bad games. That's part of the game. You're not going to be perfect every day. But usually they don't go out there and throw 5 and have 6 turnovers just out of nowhere. Manning played awful against the Chargers earlier this year, but, there were injuries. The team was down immediately, 14-0 because of special teams touchdowns. They couldn't run the ball. So, 2 years ago, I remember Brady threw 4 picks and no touchdowns against the Colts. But that was the year he had no receiving help and just couldn't make plays all year for the most part. So, I don't know about Romo entering that area yet, up there with Manning and Brady, and they're really up there alone by themselves, so there's no shame in that. But also, one thing that perturbs me, and, say what you Cowboys fans, or any other fans can say what they think about this. He had at least 1 turnover in every game this year, except for the Dolphins game and the Detroit game. So, he has the stats. He throws for 4,000 yards. He throws for 40 touchdowns, all that. But at the same time, he's going to turn the ball over 20-plus times. So it kind of balances out with a guy like, for an example, David Garrard, who only throws 20 touchdowns and maybe 3,000 yards, but he's only going to turn it over 3, 4, 5 times. So, numbers I think are a little misleading, and you have to consider things like, I don't know if Romo can be the guy who can just, tuck the ball in and play conservatively and just do a little bit enough to win and avoid the costly turnovers, because the last year, every game, at least 1 turnover, except for Detroit and Miami. 2 pretty bad teams, might I add. I'm sorry. And then you got but then on the other hand, you do have Eli Manning, who led the league in turnovers last year in terms of quarterbacks. So you can't say much else for him. In the regular season, Romo destroyed Eli, no doubt about it. Both turned it over a lot. Romo was more prone to make up for it with big plays. But Eli was pretty good. But, Eli, ever since that Week 17 game against New England, just completely turned on the Jets. He got better when they needed to. Meanwhile, Romo, he didn't. He got worse at the end of the season. It all started with the, pretty much the Philly game. Carolina, he wasn't so good. He was okay against Carolina. Washington, nothing doing. Playoffs against the Giants, not up to his standards. So, Cowboys fans, the Cowboys won 5 Super Bowls, have always respected the ability to step up when it counts the most. Like a guy like Troy Aikman, who was mediocre in the regular season, and then in the postseason would explode. So, I just like quarterback debates, and I think this is going to be a good one for a while. So what do you guys think? I mean, I look at Romo, and he has these big numbers, but he also has all those turnovers, and then you look at what they have. I mean, Eli Manning had to work with the injured Plexico Burress, the washed up, for the most part, Amani Toomer, and then you had guys like Steve Smith and David Tyree, and for most of the season he had the much overrated Jeremy Shockey, and then a rookie tight end. A bit of a patchwork offensive line, 3 different running backs that were shuffled in and out, and he still found a way to make it work. That deserves a lot of credit. Then you got Tony Romo, who he's got future Hall of Famer Terrell Owens, All-Pro, All-Pro Bowl, All-World. He's got a pretty good number 2 in Patrick Creighton. I'm not going to write home about him, but he's pretty good. I think he's better than Toomer at this point, not by a ton. Jason Witten, Pro Bowler, All-Pro, All-World, and if he keeps this up, future Hall of Fame tight end. You know, just throwing that theory out there for the hell of it. Marion Barber, beast out of the backfield, beastly offensive line. So, I don't know. I think the numbers are a little deceiving here. What do you guys think? And, you know, and then, of course, you got the whole Donovan McNabb conundrum that I'm not even going to get into now, but I'll let it be said that I like McNabb, and I think he's a hell of a quarterback, and I don't know if I consider him better or worse or even with Romo, but I do think McNabb is very underrated and just doesn't have the weapons right now to show how great he can be. So, you guys go ahead and maybe we can spark a debate about quarterbacks in general. If there's any quarterback you want to discuss, I'm up for that because that's, to me, kind of what this game is all about. So, I think I'm done making videos for the night. So, see you guys later.